First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, and then you win.
Explain Aeon and Trisl in 3 words.
Honesty, transparency, commitment.
Do you consider that Aeon and Trisl is a brand in the real estate market today?
Of course it is.
Explain me why.
As a company, we can only become a superstar if we create more stars.
First, they pay you for what you do. Then they pay you for what you know. And once you get there, they pay you for what you are and who you are. Welcome to the very first episode of Aeon and Trisl podcast, where we dive deep into the stories, leadership, and success behind Dubai real estate market. I'm your host Saleem, and today we are honored to have with us none other than Saleem Karsaz, the visionary group CEO of Aeon and Trisl. So today we'll uncover the philosophy, leadership, and the future plans that have shaped Aeon and Trisl into the powerhouse what it is today. Welcome, Mr. Saleem.
Thank you for having me.
Honored having you. So I would like to start this conversation, obviously, with that today Aeon and Trisl stands as one of the leading real estate brokerage firm in Dubai. So what is that one habit which helped you to create Aeon and Trisl as the powerhouse of the Dubai real estate market?
Thank you for having me, Salim. To be honest, identifying one habit is would be very difficult because there are many attributes to laying a strong foundation to a company like Aeon and Trisl. Our main focus, adding on to the fact that honesty, transparency, dedication, commitment, the basic attributes to the organization from the top to bottom has led us to be where we are today.
I do agree with that. So I would like our followers to know what inspired you to get into real estate and what was your motivation behind that? Can you tell a little bit about this?
So the story dates back to 2007 when there was literally no inspiration. It was just by luck or by chance, or you can say an accident, that I happened to graduate from the American University in Dubai here. And I come from a textile background, family business. But at that point in time, things were not favorable. So I decided to stay back in Dubai. And due to being a graduate from American University in Dubai, I applied for jobs here because I had bachelor's in finance, and I got a job in the DIFC, in one of the investment banks,
Right.
in the sales.
Okay.
And the condition from the family was that once you are gonna um, get a job, then we'll send you further money to settle yourself and get a house for yourself. So it happened the same way, and I started looking for houses once I confirmed the job. And in order to get hold of a house, I called a few brokers through the Bizzle, and we finalized the deal in a matter of 10 minutes when I got to them. I paid them the checks and the security deposit. While we were ending the conversation, so he said that there's a certain amount of money that you have to pay this amount. I said, why do I have to pay this amount, 2,500 dirhams? For what? He's like, that's called commission. I said, but why do I have to pay? He's like, as a customer, you have to pay. Till that time, I had no idea about what the real estate, to be very honest, was. So I told him, I said, okay, if I bring you a customer, would you want to share it with me, certain portion? He said, yes, I can share with you one third.
And that's where you saw the opportunity.
So I did not see an opportunity. I just went back. In those days, listings were free.
Yeah.
So I just went back and listed the similar type of what I had inquired for. And I got a
Okay.
call the next day. And I called the agent. I said, can I bring a client? He said, yes. And on that day only, or the day after probably, I got my first deal. So in 15 days into the job that I was in, I decided to quit and get into this. And the flow just happened to be that, I started to get family and friends and people to work with me and, list their properties. And at that time, it was a very humble beginning from uh, rentals mostly.
And utilizing all the contacts that you have
utilizing
created
the
so
contacts
far.
and making new ones, and then
Yeah.
there was handovers in at that time, new buildings getting handed over in JBR and JLT Marina Discovery Gardens. And then after maybe 6 to 8 months, decided to open up a company with a few friends, and the journey started from there. And then
Okay.
the recession came, and
If we talk about 2007 and today we are in 2025, what difference you see in Dubai real estate market from 2007 until now, and what changes and major changes you see that improved the real estate market in a positive way?
there is not one. There is many. Uh,
Let's talk about the major key points.
so the rules and regulation are more much better now. Developers are having escrow accounts. There is a rental index there. Um, Investors are able to uh, conclude a deal with more clarity and transparency, with registrations happening of every unit that is being bought. Plus, if you see transfers, earlier there would be transfers happening at the main
Land
center.
department
Now,
only. They
now
are.
you have so many trustee offices where you are given the service of transferring and doing the procedure in a much comfortable
Even
and
VIP transfer coming to your doorstep and just
absolutely. So
taking your
it's a
signatures.
major transformation, absolutely, which has actually helped the industry to grow to where it is today.
Also, the other change, just to add few points, I think the way of marketing the properties have changed a lot since 2007 until day. Because back then, I believe I was not there in 2007. I joined a few years later, but I still remember that people were actually advertising properties on Gulf News or Khalij Times, and there was no understanding of portal, or portals were not so popular. Do you agree with that?
Yes, portals were not popular. The few of them did not even exist.
Yeah.
Yeah. And apart from the portals, there was mostly people looking in the newspaper, and there would be sellers listing their properties. So I would get a lot of listings from the newspapers at that time, where sellers would have listed as direct from landlord or direct from owner at that time. And that's how we would communicate and start making and so many people in those days are actually my customers now, because the relationships made over that time. Because when market was not doing so well in the 2008 crisis, we decided to stay back and try to focus on the opportunities which were arising at that time, because many people thought that market would not come back. I always had that belief that this market has a lot to offer, because what you have here, what in those days compared to what you have now, it is still an unstoppable market for us.
Also, speaking about the differences, right, from back when you started as a CEO of a small boutique agency with few sales staff working with you alongside, how was the competition in 2007 when you started your real estate journey? And how do you see, in comparison, the competition today in the same industry?
So if you see the number of registered broker in those days and the number of registered brokers in today's market, there's a big difference. And the way lives have changed, the way the social media has taken over the world, now that AI is taking over. So the competition is just getting severe and severe day by day, maybe second by second, to be honest. So of course, competition is on a much higher side now. Buyers are more literate at this point in time. They have more information than us than we do at times. They get informed about launches or products coming, or what's happening. There is property monitor to get the data about what is the last few transactions which has happened, or you can use the buy interact for that. So it is a very, very changed and a different and a more transparent market now, compared to in those days. So I feel that which is actually very good for any market where data is visible. You are able to compare and take reasons out of it to make a decision.
I do completely agree with you that the number of brokers actually have increased by probably 10 times since you started your journey, and it's a very, very competitive market. But do you agree that competition for Aeon and Trisel is a challenge, and which actually helps improve our services to the industry, to our clients, and dealing with any individual right now in this market?
It is a major challenge.
Yeah,
And that's why whenever we face a problem, we don't try to only just solve the problem. We try to evolve in the problem. We try to see what the market is changing into, um, how things have evolved in other countries when such competition had arisen in those countries, and try to replicate that, try to study it, try to because to remain on the top requires a lot of effort in the back office, which we keep on introducing, we keep on testing, we keep on trying new things. Maybe at times we are making mistakes, maybe at times we are failing, but we are always trying to see, because if we don't try it, then we cannot succeed. So we keep
right.
on trying new things, and sometimes it works out in our favor. Plus the fact that when you talk about competition, we have divisions where we are focused on the off-plan market, and then we have a division where we are focused on the secondary market. Along with the secondary market, we are also focused on the leasing market. So we have limited ourselves to three components. We're not going into the other added services which are available as a real estate agency to offer, because I believe that if there is an opportunity to make money in mortgage, providing mortgage to customers, we're not looking into it. Our primary focus is either the off-plan market with the best developers in town, or the great areas that are giving people the lifestyle that people are looking for. So if you are limiting yourselves to the right products, focusing on it, yes, competition is there, but then again, we have uh, a great legacy behind us. We have customers lined up with us for the last 18 years that we have been into business,
That's
17
true.
to 18 years. So now we are talking about the second or the third generation working with us.
That's right.
The kids are growing up and they're getting married, and now they are having children, and the fathers or their grandfathers who were already associated with us. So it's the trust that has been built, because when you work with a top developer, or you work with the best developers who have a habit of delivering, who have a habit of um, creating communities, creating lifestyles, people do end up making money, whether it may be in terms of appreciation, whether it may be in terms of good rental income, because having a unit, being on purpose of having it, say for example, you bought a unit in a community for rental income. Now, what the community has to offer you derives the value of your unit,
That's right. I do
because
agree with
if
you.
you have a unit, and it always remains in demand for the customers to come in to rent, so you are in the money at all times.
So, when you started this journey, being a small brokerage firm in Dubai, what was the biggest motivation that you made this company right now as one of the leading real estate brokerage firms in Dubai? What was the drive behind that?
So initially, when we started, it was a very small period that we got the market, the boom, to enjoy the boom at that time, because we started company in March 2008, and September, October, we saw world hitting the crisis
Yeah,
globally. And at that time, we could not see anything at the end of the tunnel. There was no light. But I thought to myself that there's nothing that I can think of going back, or something to fall back on, because things were not so good back home also. So I took a step to fall forward and
right.
embrace the situation that was there. At that time, not many projects were continuing. So those which were continuing, we had an opportunity to shift the customers from those projects to the existing projects, from a project which is delayed to a project which is going to get completed. And we decided to work at that time very closely with the big names at that time also. And that has actually laid the foundation of the growth that the company has seen, because we stuck to the main developers at that time. So our customer base, our thought process, everything is mm, uh, going in line with the journey of, say, for example, Imar or Nakhil or Dubai Properties, you can say Damak, um, and the other bigger names joined later. But we have always focused on them, and that's how our focus remained. And you've seen that the whether or not 2013, the opportunities which came in the market at that time to when projects were launched,
Yeah.
we were always at the forefront because we always had those customers who were interested in buying projects from Imar or Nakhil at that time. So that is a big difference between uh, others and our competitors and us.
I myself, I represent Aeon and Trisl everywhere. And anytime I just say that Aeon and Trisl, so for those who don't know, they always ask me, what, why Aeon and Trisl? What stands behind Aeon and Trisl? Why is this name chosen? Like, what does it mean? So can you explain our viewers what Aeon and Trisl means and who came with the idea of giving this name to the company?
So Trisl was formed in 2008,
Yeah.
and that was we. It was I started with the different partners at that time, and Aeon was started by my current partner right now, around I think 2011, 12, under the name of Aeon. Before that, they were working on a different name. Um, and things were going very smooth, and we were running our separate entities, although we were having a lot of investments together with my current partner right now, Mr. Noor, and we were having a lot of interest. His office and my office was at the same building. Anyways, when um, then Tristle was bought by me and Aeon was bought by him in around the same time, probably a few months. We thought that in 2015 it was a decision which has actually laid a good foundation to a great vision, because we had to come to terms with the fact that in order to be better than anyone else, we have to scale our cost in terms of growth. So rather than competing against each other, the purpose, the process, everything was the same.
To join hands to become stronger together rather
Exactly.
than
So
competing
we
with
were
one
like
another.
minded to get onto the same page. So that's why his name and my name was able to be merged into making this standing where it is. Although the challenges that we faced in between the teams from both offices in the early days was took probably 8 to 9 months to actually make them Aeon and Tristle agents, rather than some people would be saying that I'm still from an Aeon perspective, and mine would say that we're from the background and thought process
It's
of
like putting
Tristle.
two separate family members in one house and
Exactly,
then making them live together.
exactly,
And I also remember that, so before the merger, Aeon Properties was very strong in the secondary market sale, where Tristle Real Estate was strong in the primary market.
exactly.
So when that merger happened, so that helped the team internally a lot. So to learn from the guys specialized in the secondary market and vice versa, the secondary market agents learning how to sell off plan. So I think that merger was a great chemistry by the grace of God. And today, I think we are blessed to have one of the strong team members in the secondary market, luxury segment, mid segment, as well as the off plan market as well. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely, it was a defining moment at that time. It was a decision where um, it would it could a lot of people could have disagreed at that time,
Right.
and a lot of people in our teams probably also had a different opinion, but it was a decision which was made and which was stood upon, because it was not easy to convince the team members. At the executive level, it was very easy. It didn't even take probably more than 30 minutes to
So
agree
you
on
had
to.
a clear picture that what you wanted this company after the merger to be, and then you were following it.
It was an idea at that time. Of course, when we started, it took a while to get into place. And since the primary market was always the preference for my side of the team, and the secondary market was the preference of Aeon side of the team. So when people started to get together, we started to bloom in all sectors because the requirements of a secondary market team member to fulfill the requirement of his buyer in the primary market became more easier because the access was there, the knowledge was there, the connectivity was there, and it happened to work out in our favor. Yet until 2017, we were doing well, alhamdulillah, but not in the top tiers in terms of the rankings, and the direction was not there as much as it should have been.
Yeah,
So
I remember in 2017, I remember that day you walked to the office and you got all the team members together and said, guys, I mean, we have to focus in this and that developer because I know that the clients will enjoy the benefits and as well as we can increase our sales. And my goal is we have to be at the top.
so
So, and that's where I think the journey and the competition started, where Aeon and Trisl slowly and gradually start getting into the top tier of EMAR to start with as well.
so I still remember in 2017 we did not come in the top 20.
Yeah.
And in 2018 I was you know very unhappy with the fact that although we have so much expertise, although we have so much customer base, yet we are not pushing them or making them understand why certain developers who are still selling in Dubai in those days are a good product to buy for a long term, because real estate is all about long term gains and stability. And by the grace of God and the support of the whole system, the team that we have, um, from being nowhere in until the second quarter of 2018 to end up at number 5 in 2018 was a big push to the whole team to accept that this was not just a dream but a reality. And we've not looked back from then on. So number 5 in 2018, and then number 2 in 2019 with Imar, and it just followed. We became top performers at Damak. We became top performer at Nakhil, Dubai Properties, Miras, Soba, Majid Al Futem, all the big names. And
And even some smaller private developers as well.
the other private developers are also, we have played a role because the team has grown. So I identified in 2019 that in order for us, because in those days it was not only about selling in Dubai. So you would have limited customers who have shown interest to buy. We would be doing events in different countries, sometimes going to South Africa, sometimes going to London, sometimes going to India, different countries, in order to interact with people and bring them to invest in Dubai. Show them the opportunity, which we still do. But in 2019, I was in London and I saw a great space on Park Street, just off Park Lane in Mayfair. And I thought to myself that if we need to grow, we need to have a constant spot in in a global market, a presence of this company in an international location such as London, because I can see that there is a lot of interest from the biggest buyers at that time were people from that part of the world.
Even till now, I
Yeah,
think.
exactly. So we decided to grow in that region, and we've not looked back since. So yes, COVID came, things were very difficult globally, but how the government, how the whole system was managed here, it was just amazing if you see how things opened up here.
In short span of time, yeah.
Absolutely. And the way people started to accept, what UAE has to offer. Because today, if you see what differentiates UAE from any country in the world, is the fact that you have the best security here, you have the safety here. In luxury, you have everything, the best
Healthcare.
education, the healthcare. Within a radius of 10 minutes, you can be at the largest shopping mall in the world. And another 10 minutes from there, you could be at the best fine dining spaces in the world. So it's got everything here. People love to be here. They want to spend most of the time here. So that just did not stop post COVID, and it's still getting better and better day by day.
Today, Aeon and Trisl, as a real estate company, holds the top tier with all the major and minor developers. And of course, I'm sure everyone would have a question: what's the secret?
Of course, there is a lot of hard work and effort, a vision behind it, and that vision comes with a big sacrifice in terms of financial investments that have gone in. In 2020 onwards, 21, we identified that this market is there to stay for a very very long time. Although because people have a very short term approach when they are working towards the any goal, or maybe thinking about the market conditions, that no, it's just gone up for 6 months, it might just. But we could see with all the reasons that I've shared earlier about how good Dubai or the UAE market is in terms of the safety, security, healthcare, education, every aspect. So at that time I decided to myself, and I faced positive criticism at that time, or maybe disagreements, in order to take a stand, in order to identify that as a company we can only become a superstar if we create more stars, because anyone and everyone associated with you in this business would want to eventually end up making a name for themselves. So I identified that ahead of time, and today we have, alhamdulillah, more than 25 to 27 team leaders who run their teams, and they are my right and left hand. They are my backbone of my company, along with the rest of the team members also, because everyone has a role to play. And we kept on trusting the people who had been associated with us for a very long time, because we knew that in this market conditions they would eventually perform. We don't value, or we don't do the KPIs of our team members based on 1 or 2 months of performance. Because in
Absolutely.
real estate, it could take 6 to 9 months for a closing to happen. You have
Right.
to give them that space. And that kept us going, because certain team leaders, they decided to focus on Nakhil, where they ended up getting us a top spot there. Certain team members decided to focus on Soba. So team leaders going and focusing on other developers with their teams, and the rest of the team members helped us reach top positions at most of the developers. So today, alhamdulillah, we are um, um, the number one company with EMR for 23 and 24. Last year alone, we closed more than 2 billion, which was first time ever.
Marshall.
Alhamdulillah. This is a great achievement, and the only way we can continue to do this is to ensure that we remain grounded. We remain focused. So when we ended 24 at a high spot, we were back at work on the next working day, which was 2nd or the 3rd of January, whenever the work started. We never decide to just be complacent. So
So the answer would be the first key to successful leadership is when you grow, you help others grow as well.
that is the law of giving, right? So many
Yeah,
people talk about law of attraction,
yeah,
but when you give without without having any interest of thinking that this guy will return the favor, I've never done that. So I'm there to help and assist with the rest of my partners, to all the people in my company who are there in the sales. Because we've grown, that doesn't mean that people don't have access. Probably one of the few companies where the CEO and the COO and the HOS of the company have direct access to. People can message me, people can call me, people communicate with me at any time, then I love to help them. Because if my people are gonna do well, my company would do well. So the interest is today to make sure that everybody who joins Aeon Trisl ends up, becoming a successful agent with the passage of time. I tell people it will take time because rejections are more rather than the success side. So I have understood this, and I keep on making them understand that too.
Do you consider that Aeon and Trisel is a brand in the real estate market today?
Of course, it is.
Explain me why.
It's been a very long time to be, setting this up. Our target and the reason for creating this whole setup was to ensure that, people know the company globally. Today, our global footprint in apart from the UAE, we are based in the UK and Pakistan also. And today, people want to join us. And the reason is not only that we are one of the top companies in most of the developers and EMAR's number one agency. It's because that they feel that, when anyone joins, they are embraced into the organization, which we have a culture of having a very united and a family oriented setup where everybody's good days and bad days are well taken care of. Um, and to create this brand, of course, it has taken more than a decade. Tireless efforts have gone, and there's this there's a saying that, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, and then you win. So that has been the journey. So it has taken a long time. We have seen a lot of tough times, very difficult days, but we stood tall.
And
You
of
know,
course, with all the hard work, we can see that today the brand is paying off because simply as a Aeon and Trisel member, if you walk into any developer's office, they recognize you. You're walking with your client, they understand, and they naturally give you some sort of priority that knowing that we are bringing consistent business and our clients are treated with a top priority as well. And
because it is an affirmation for the staff there also, knowing that, when you are bringing a client, you're bringing a customer who has either already dealt with us before, or even if it is new, has come to us because of the certain principles that we have laid in the company foundation. The topmost priority for all, because it's not only about having a passion to do this work. We are equally focused on the fact, which I said in the beginning also, about the fact that, we have to remain honest with our clients. We have to be very transparent with, because this is all, because mostly the people who are investing are trusting you from sitting in their home countries, or when they come here, you are the caretaker of their investments, and they would want to have the seek the right advice or invest in the right products to understand that, what is their need. How would I want to be treated when I would go to any country where I'm not having a frequent visit. There are some of our clients who come here thrice or four times a year or twice a year, yet they are being managed, and they are being told, and they are being taken care of. So that's what we
after sales service.
absolutely, that's what we've spent. Not only after sales service, it's about the choice for you to make when you discuss with them a business opportunity or an opportunity for them to take in the market. Is, of course, you need to convince them why you are offering that. And 9 out of 10 times we've been right, alhamdulillah, by the grace of God. In the last decade or so, people who have invested with us, yes, at that time they were skeptical, they were hesitant, but with the advice that we have given them, they've all been making money. And that's what a successful brand representation is.
That's right. I mean, there is a very interesting quote which I heard and I really like it, which says, first they pay you for what you do, then they pay you for what you know. And once you get there, they pay you for what you are and who you are.
Absolutely.
So I guess the brand is today paying off to us right now because all the hard work through this journey we had, with all the ups and downs, with all the ease and difficulties, and today the clients and as well as the associate partners and the channel partners feel safe with us.
Exactly, and you said it very correctly. And it's just not, usually it's one person or two people or the owners only. Today, again, as I mentioned to you earlier, that today is a proud moment for me to have more than 25 to 30 people of similar stature in the company who are spread around in the whole industry. Like yourselves, you represent the ultra luxury segment in the Palm. Then we have other uh, like yourselves who represent us in different areas, and with a lot of stronghold. It's not just that you represent there with a lot of listings, exclusive listings, with a lot of knowledge and
Information, which is
information, which is the
expensive
key.
commodity.
Exactly. So that is what we have invested in, because we were never having a short term plan. Today, if you see every project that is coming into, our teams are actually very well prepared of knowing what product they are selling, why they are selling, what could be an increment because of being invested in A community, B community, or C community. What are the reasons? What would help the people? Like, for example, the way in the last few years, developers have taken in the advice from the industry leaders to understand to make changes in the floor plan, especially for villas and townhouses, because people are looking
That's
for bigger
incredible.
space. So if you see that, and when you advise the customer on that point with so much detail about why they are buying a semi-detached home with all en suites, they actually realize the fact that this guy or anyone representing us, because what we tell our customers, or what I would tell my people or my customers, I relay that information to everybody in my organization, and they replicate that, and that's how you grow. I don't keep that information to myself or that knowledge to myself, because the purpose is to ensure that everybody is on the same page.
We live together, we grow together.
Absolutely.
Explain Aeon and Trisl in 3 words.
Honesty, transparency, commitment.
Continue the sentence. Leadership is all about.
Leading from the front.
Nice. Good one. Your top 3 communities in Dubai.
Palm Jumeirah, Dubai Hills Estate, Emirates Hills.
I like that one. The first one, Palm Jumeirah.
Yeah,
That's the key
associated
location.
with you.
Yes, of
I
course.
have to keep you happy.
If you were not in real estate, what would you do?
So, as I mentioned earlier, I started my career in a financial investment bank. I would have probably been growing myself there. God knows. Allah had different plans. Within 15 days, got into real estate. I never knew anything about it, but I've learned a lot in the last 17, 18 years of my association.
And the last question to end our podcast. Where do you want to see Aeon and Trisl in the next 5 to 10 years?
So I've been asked this question 5, 10 years ago before as well. And where I had wanted to see it, we have reached there. Now, what is next? Next is to ensure that we keep on consistently growing in the same direction that we are heading into,
And maintaining.
ensuring and maintaining it, because it's very important. Once you are at the top, it's important to maintain it, and that can only come with with a lot of consistency, and that consistency is not only in your work side; it's in your behavior also. You Allah has blessed you with this name and brand and the success, so you have to remain humble to ensure that you are focusing on the right things. Stay grounded. Our plans to expand in different markets globally, keeping the focus on the UAE market is where the goal is right now.
Great. Mr. Saleem Karsaz, honored to have you here and hope to see you next time.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.